Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Equine Episode Examination, where today we'll be talking about the newest MOP episode, The Gift of MAUD Pie. Let's see, let me just to get rid of that. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, hopefully you all can hear me now. Welcome. If this is your first time on a Triple E, I'll just give you a quick rundown. Pretty much, we're just going to talk about the episode that premiered last Saturday. We've hopefully had a few days to kind of let the episode sink in and maybe give it a rewatch. And we're just going to talk about what we think about it. Pretty much analyze it, kind of give our opinions on it, and we'll start with more general overall discussion about the episode, and kind of then go into different specifics on characters and different parts of the episode after that. And of course, you all are very much encouraged to participate and give us what you think about the episode and each of these points, and bring up your own points in the chat as well. Yeah, we'll have a nice big discussion out of it. So, I'm Rain Shadow, and today I am joined by a couple people here.
What's up, I'm Mr. Ben.
I'm Jason.
And there we go. That's everyone here. So yeah,
Usual gang of idiots.
The usual suspects here. So so yeah, we get our third episode of the season here, or getting into the swing of things here in season 6 already, which is great. So this is our first kind of normal episode of the season, not really a two-parter, even though I will say that the two-parter was a little bit more normal than two-parters normally are, because in terms of, it's a lot more of a character-centric two-parter than an over-the-top kind of very action-packed two-parter that we're normally used to. So a little bit nice little change of pace, and so we're getting right into our normal kind of slice-of-life episodes here with the Gift of MAUD Pie. What's everyone's initial thoughts on the first episode of the season here, or first regular episode of the season, I should say?
Nice to see Maud again.
You don't want to get Maud angry.
Yeah, who doesn't like to see Maud again? I really enjoyed this episode, and much like the previous episode, the season opener, the crystalling, it really kind of grew on me the more I watched it. So I've watched it about 3 times now, and I've been able to enjoy it more and more each time. Kind of just looking into the story and kind of knowing what to expect, and just it was just a really good episode in terms of just its enjoyability. It was nice just having an episode kind of focus on just a few characters, instead of the whole group, and just kind of focus on their characters and their development and like the relationship between those characters. So it was nice being able to jump into a character kind of focused episode right away this season. And I think they did a good job with it.
Let's say I actually also forgot to mention, you know how often I've said that I'd like to have finally have an episode with Pinky and Rarity finally teaming up? Finally got that.
Yes.
So yeah, Maud being in there just made it so much better. So.
So I guess let's get right into it. And to talk about the story and the writing. This episode was written by 2 new writers, who are friends of Josh Haber, who is, of course, the new story editor of the season. Michael P. Fox and his brother Will Fox wrote this episode, and Josh Haber also contributed to the initial story outline of the episode. So a couple new writers. How does everyone think that they did with their first outing here on Pony?
It's pretty good for the first episode. I mean, there was a little bit of my point that I kind of had a lot bit of. The problem could have pretty much been there was a bit of a plot hole. I think they could have probably easily hand waved away, like kind of like right at the very beginning. I mean, the characters did feel a little step off from the usual. They were true to themselves. The one thing is that kind of like how can I try to put this here? Rarity here is known as she's a fashion consultant. I'm not a consultant, but a fashion designer. She could have easily had a replacement of that bag, like made up. I mean, if Pinky had told her like right from the very beginning that, hey, I'm planning on giving my sister a bag for, you know, a rock pouch, they could have had her kind of just whip one up, even like right at the very beginning. And yeah, I understand that they probably could have had it to be like rare materials or something that wasn't accessible. And they could have had the pouch maybe like lost early on, kind of like within the first maybe couple of minutes, and they could have probably had Pinky scouring the city for like a replacement instead. But you know, they could have had that taken care of pretty easily. But other than that, that's all I can really have to say about it. I'm sure Tim here in the chat room, who's kind of mirroring the same points, can probably explain it far better than I can.
To be truthful, I never even noticed that, so I can't even say that it bothered me at all.
Did I know some people were? I think during the episode, some people were saying something similar to that. I think.
Well, you know, Tim and I actually did sort of talk this over a little bit on the side. So to be perfectly honest, the points that I'm making up were actually ones that he addressed to me earlier, and I really didn't notice it, to be honest, until he mentioned it. But now that going back and looking over it again, yeah, it kind of sticks out kind of like a sore thumb.
Well, I think you gotta look at the implications here in terms of the setting and what's going. Yeah, sure, Rarity can make a bag, but they're in the middle of Manhattan,
well, that was
and
my
not at
original
Ponyville.
point. Well, that
And
was
how
my
long
original-
does it take to make a bag? And this is the Swamp Days happening right now. She needs this, obviously, right that day, like within a few hours. So one, could Rarity make that in a few hours? And two, they're in Manhattan, and Rarity's shop isn't open there yet. So
Well,
they
that
would
was
have to
what I was
travel
saying.
to another place to actually make that happen.
As I was going to say, but you kept talking over me. That was my original point, was that, you know, they're kind of already in Manhattan. Rarity doesn't exactly have her situation. That was why I said earlier beforehand that if Pinky had originally, you know, came up to Rarity like maybe beforehand, that you know, they could have done that. But Rarity has been made things, you know, on the fly, even with like limited resources. Like back in Crystal Empire, when Rarity was doing that little shop thing, she was able to make a hat out of like what
So you're saying that they should have made a really shitty bag out of straw.
well, no, she could have made a really good one. That's the thing. I mean, she was
Out,
able
out
to
of
make
what? And with what? I mean, I know she's done something like that before, but with what? When has she done something that is comparable to making a bag like that?
She made an entire high fashion line out of common hotel materials and made it look high end presentable.
Yeah, but she had a workshop to do that in, filled with other materials.
A sweatshop of her friends.
Yeah. Because she was already there because she was doing fashion design in Manhattan, so she already had that all set up where she was already planning on doing that. It's just that she had to come up with something new really quickly because, of course, Surrey had stolen her fashion. You know, had stolen her idea. So she had to use materials, but she already had all the equipment there and the resources, and of course all the main six to help make that. I really don't see an issue because I don't think that's something that Rarity could have made on such short notice. She didn't even know until Pinky told her in the episode. I mean, I just don't really see an issue there. I mean, yeah, sure, they could have said that in the episode, but I don't really think it was necessary, especially when this whole thing is, about Pinky trying to kind of find that perfect gift too. So yes, it's a pouch, but you can't just poof and make a pouch. Especially one that's going to be really good and well designed. I think you're just kind of glancing over that fact there that that she can't just make stuff appear, using magic. She has to have the materials, she has to have the equipment, and she has to have the time to do that. None of which they really had. I'll have to rewatch that because I don't remember exactly
she
that
actually
scene.
did. Yeah, she actually did. She actually took one of curtains down from Trixie's stage, and she actually was able to make a curtain, or not a curtain, but a gown, like right out of that. So,
And I still think that's a little. I don't know. I still don't agree with that.
It was kind of a one-off thing anyway. So, either way, getting back on topic here. So,
I think we're pretty much on topic. Let me see.
Well, getting off the tangent about Rarity anyway, then, and getting right back into the meat of things. What other issues do we have with the writing? Say, kind of felt that the running gag with the whatchamacallit, the party cannon was a little overused at first, but it kind of tied centrally in with the message of the episode. And I kind of wish they kind of downplayed a little bit on that a little bit more, but that's about it. Yeah, Pinky almost nearly ended in jail too.
You know, and I'm gonna call BS on that Ghostbusters thing though. That I think that was just kind of a one-off thing that you can't really hold this episode to. Let's see if I can find my notes. There we go.
I'm not sure if the pouch was made of anything rare, because all Pinky says that was hand stitched 10,000 times in line with velvet, so I'm sure that was something Rarity probably could have done.
You know, I would disagree. I think the characters were really well done, especially Pinky. In this episode, I think that I think that she was really like some of the best Pinky writing that I've seen for a little bit. I mean, she felt very very aware of everything. She was still zany and crazy, and but I don't know. I think that they managed to work that like a line of thought behind all of her thinking in the episode, which was nice.
Say, have this one here. A little bit of a minor thing, but I just liked seeing Rarity just sort of imitate Pinky at that one point in the episode. Nice little bit of writing on that one there. And yeah, normally they have Pinky kind of be like the fall mare for this sort of shenanigans and pratfalls, and they didn't. Usually it seemed like Rarity seemed to be the one kind of ending up holding the bag more than anything. So. I know, Rarity playing comedy really for a Pinky episode. And what the hell is this, man? This oh, I love it. Just kind of. I don't have my phone on, so whoever's phone was ringing, it wasn't mine.
I think maybe they're talking about your jumping or your pink sounds.
That's probably about it, yeah. Yeah, if you hear like a Mario coin or a Mario ping or a Mario jump, that's me. So.
I think one of the things that was really cool about this episode is kind of how they're setting up for stuff in the future. So sort of like with Rarity, continuing to kind of realize her dreams and stuff. Of course, last season she opened up a boutique in Canterlot, and with this episode she is scouting for a location to open up a boutique in Manhattan. So it was a little plot point in the episode which they used to actually bring her into the story. Because surprisingly enough, this wasn't a map episode. I originally thought maybe this would be a map episode, although of course looking back on it, that wouldn't make sense given the story that we were given. But it seemed like it could be a map episode, being that it was pulling two ponies, sort of like how the map did in season 5 in it. But instead they used that Rarity opening up a new shop in Manhattan as kind of a little reason to kind of pull her into the story. Which was nice, and I'm looking forward to seeing maybe if we'll see more of that continuity with that this season with her in this shop in Manhattan, and potentially going back to Manhattan to visit that, because of course she was just in this episode scouting out the location for that.
Kind of makes me wonder if we're going to even see even more areas, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe they. The theme for this whole overall arc, this season, I believe was said to be world building or something like that.
The theme, the toy theme is Explore Equestria.
Yeah, so that was kind of what I'm wondering, if we're going to be seeing that more in the season to come. So.
And with that, I think I'm glad that they had Pinky and Rarity in this episode with Pinky, not just because we haven't really seen them together before. I don't think we've had a single episode of the show before that focused on Rarity paired with Pinky, and so it was definitely an interesting dynamic to see. But it was definitely cool to see Rarity paired with her in this particular story, since of course she's the element of generosity, and that's pretty much what the entire moral was about. Kind of what it means to give gifts. It isn't about trying to a contest or trying to one up someone. It's all about being generous and showing that you care to someone. And so it was nice having Rarity in this episode, but also it was interesting seeing her not actually the one that was in the end kind of teaching that moral about generosity, which was also kind of cool to see at the end. I don't know. I thought the story was fine. I didn't see any issue with it dragging at all.
I didn't have any problems with it. So.
And I really like the character focus on it, and we get a lot of really good characterization for all three of the characters, even MAUD in it, and of course we'll get to that next. But I guess just writing wise, I really feel like the characters were on point with that. One thing I would say is when for first watching the episode, I really thought you're using the party cannon a little too much. I think you're driving that point home a little too much there. And that kind of bothered me at the beginning, because I'm like, okay, we get it. Pinky likes the party cannon, but then of course later on in the story, that actually turns out to be the main plot point, and the thing that she has to give up for it. So they were kind of doing that in the beginning to kind of either remind us or inform new viewers or infrequent viewers of the show that this is something that really does mean a lot to Pinky and that she uses a lot. So in the end, it made sense that they were doing that.
That was another thing I have to admit. That was also a bit of a plot point that kind of hooked me on that. It was, my first thought was that when she gave up the party cannon, I was like, wait a minute, she's got 3 of them. Why is she kind of upset over losing one?
It's her favorite one. Just kidding.
So.
But does she really have multiple? That's the one thing that I was thinking about too, and I've kind of been trying to think of over the past couple of days. Is, of course, the whole thing about, well, does Pinkie Pie have more than one party cannon, or is this kind of her own one? The only time I recall seeing her having more than one in the same shot was actually only in Equestria Girls, in the most recent Equestria Girls movie, which of course is a different universe. So I that may be her only party cannon, and of course, being Pinkie Pie, she's able to just kind of pull it out of hammer space at any time, whether that be Pinkie or the cannon itself. But
I know she installed several of the hidden party cannons in Twilight's New Castle, but I don't know if those were that one that she owned previously, or that was she just ones that she recently just got specifically for the sole purpose of installing them in the castle.
I'm assuming they're pretty small party cannons too, like mini party cannons, to be able to hide them. Yeah, that was the only thing that I was able to think of would be the one that you said in the tree. But of course, even if she had managed to get other party cannons there somehow and hide them, she was never able to find them in that episode. So
well, not only that, again, with the situation being that they're in Manhattan, it'd probably be that Pinkie kind of has like the party cannon stashed around Ponyville, and obviously they're not in Ponyville, so that kind of has a
I think that the main problem with the whole does Pinkie Pie have more than one party cannon thing would be it kind of loses the impact of Pinkie Pie giving away this party cannon if she can just go back to Ponyville and she has more there or something like that. So I think that was kind of the point that a lot of people were making with that was, why is she so upset about giving up or losing this party cannon if she has other ones? Which is understandable. I mean, that kind of does hurt the emotional impact of her giving away a party cannon if she already has other party cannons with it. But I think you're by doing that, you're assuming she has other ones, which I'm assuming she doesn't, at least of that kind of party cannon.
And and J.E. might have also had another point as well that wasn't really touched on, is that it may have she may have had an emotional attachment to that particular party cannon that for some other reason. I have no idea. So
I think J.E.'s mic is really soft because I can.
Hello.
I can barely hear you. That's a little louder there, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry if I talked over you. I could barely hear you.
My throat's kind of acting up, so I'm speaking softer.
Oh, okay.
That would explain it.
Well, I would assume this episode would say that she doesn't have more than. It's canon. But oh man, Mr. Ben, this is my risky click of the day right here.
It's safe for work. I believe me.
Well, I missed that part of the episode.
So, yeah. I probably could have used a little bit more better terminology for that. First jerk probably would have been better.
Oh gosh.
But of course, I have to keep the running gag going on this, so.
Of course, this was, I don't know if we mentioned that this is, of course, kind of based off the classic kind of Gift of the Magi story, right?
Yeah.
Of course, which is obviously parodied in the episode's title. So no, that is not some awkward misspelling or bad grammar in the title. It's just a parody of the Gift of the Magi, It was kind of different because I believe in that story doesn't it kind of involve two people that have to give up something to buy a gift for the other, and both of them kind of wind up giving them gifts related to what they gave up. Where in this one it's only kind of just one way with Pinkie giving up something to get something for Maud, and then of course Maud gives her the party cannon, party cannon confetti. So it's kind of just like a half of one of those stories. But I really like the use of it. I think they used it really, really well. And and it worked really well for the characters that they used in the episode. Is there, I guess anyone else have anything else for the story?
I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to mention and everything, so.
Yeah, I think that's all I had for
And
story.
also, as Draconius is mentioning, we mentioned the title was a play on the Gift of the Magi, but they didn't complete, instead of being the particular route having Pinky give Maud they didn't go the particular route of Pinky giving Maud something, but Maud selling the thing that Pinky's gift was meant for.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad that they didn't, because I fully expected that was what they was going to go with as well. But of course, I should have known better. So
Instead, it was just a one-way thing with Pinky giving up the thing that Maud was going that Maud's confetti for the cannon, and then she didn't have the cannon.
Yeah, and of course it also kind of played to the episode story where kind of like one of the plot points is that Pinky always feels like her gifts aren't anywhere near as good as Maud's gifts as well. So it played nicely into that kind of like that little side story of the episode. Yeah, I guess it would have been Tim, but I guess with time and whatnot. I'm not really sure exactly how they could have worked that in there without it eating up a lot more time from the episode.
Maybe the motif search was just the explanation for why Rarity was there with them.
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. I think it was kind of just giving a reason for Rarity to be there without kind of using the map. And hopefully setting up a future episode this season when we'll see more of that. Kind of killing two birds with one stone there. So I guess we can go on to the characters and the characterization of. There we go. Characters and characterization of the episode here. Guess we can start. You want to start with Rarity, I guess. What does everyone think about Rara?
Let's say Rarity was, again, one of the best things of this particular episode. She was actually the one playing the comic relief of all things, the Pinkie Pie, which is really saying something. So, just some of the facial expression she did was just really amusing. And of course, nice to seeing Rarity getting the extension of the boutique. Now she's had her main one in Ponyville, and then she's got the new Canterlot one that was introduced last season, and now so
I liked a lot of Rarity's kind of like dramatic things. Of course, like at the end where she's being like a really, really good actor in terms of trying to force this guy to believe that Maud is just like has like fire in her eyes and clenching her jaw and stuff at the end.
Really didn't have fire in her eyes.
Because that really over the top acting and of course her reaction when she gets like tries to suggest all these things for Maud, and Maud just kind of looks at the is just interested in the gap or the crack in the ground there, and she just like freaks out at her during that time. Well, of course, a lot of that has to do with Pinkie Pie was very, very set on getting that rock bag, where Rarity was trying to come up with some other things that might still work, or at least find something that maybe else that Maud would want.
Let me need to go.
I did like how they kind of subtly bring in Rarity's aversion to dirt and stuff when she's trying to get out of kind of once she accidentally kind of blabbed that Rarity had given, or not, that Pinkie had given up her party cannon to Maud. She was trying to getting her hooves really dirty, trying to find an excuse to go wash her hands. And at the end of the episode, she's like, Rarity, you've been washing your hands for such a long time. Which is kind of like a little nod, like, yeah, she was off screen for quite a while trying to get rid of all that dirt she got onto her hooves.
I don't think we've actually seen the Rarity's aversion to dirt and filth ever since like season 1, which is, I remember we seen episodes like way back in season 1 where Rarity would just would freak out almost at that, but we haven't really seen her do anything of that nature, I don't think, in any of the other seasons.
Aside from, it wasn't Rarity getting dirty, but that bit where she and that, now I can't remember the episode name. That bit where Applejack gets mud on Rarity's dress simple ways when Applejack gets mud on Rarity's dress, she's immediately like, get 2 gallons of detergent bleach stat.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, Rarity isn't quite as afraid to get dirty. See, anything else to say about Rarity? Yeah, it was definitely fun to see her over the top kind of very dramatic nature in a lot of the episode again. Let's see. How about Pinkie Pie?
See, I'm looking for a screenshot on here because I remember I saw Tim earlier in the chat room mentioning something about Pinkie utilizing her mane as hammer space, and I know that we did see that actually in the episode proper at some point, but I'm not entirely.
Yeah, she was. I believe she had stuck a flyer back in it. Let me see where.
Yeah, it was a rolled up piece of paper. I know that much.
I got it here. Let me. Oops. That's not going to my headphones. There we go. Yeah, I believe it's the flyer of the it's the flyer of all the here's the screenshot. It's the flyer of the all the bags that she has that she wants to buy for for Maud. And yeah, here she is sticking it just boop right in her right back in her head there. It's actually like going into her head. I will say I just really loved seeing the dynamic between Rarity and Pinkie Pie. I don't know if I can really pinpoint and say something exactly, but I really just enjoyed seeing the two together interacting for an extended period of time. And they're both similar in a lot of ways because they can both be very, I guess, over dramatic, but in different ways. But at the same time, they're still very different characters in other ways, and it was just fun seeing them two just having spending time and spending a day together and how they're interacting, and I think they were able to pull that off in a way that at least to me was really enjoyable.
So one of the best things I think, like you mentioned, like that is especially compared again with Pinkie Pie to Maud, with Pinkie's zany energy compared to like Maud's like flat and motionless. Like the Pie Sister song, like right there, and Maud is giving like the the best single of 2016 here.
Yeah, I mean, and how she's also different from both characters, because I guess how unemotive she is, and even Rarity is very, very emotive, just like Pinkie Pie is. So it was a interesting dynamic between them two as well.
Let's say, yeah, like I said, we've had interactions with Pinkie, Rarity, and MAUD and Pinkie, but Tim, like there in chat rooms, also saying there was a little bit of MAUD Rarity too. The conversation between Rarity and MAUD when Pinkie was out trying to go get that bag, and what was it? Rarity was asking MAUD, like, well, however did you come across Boulder? And it's kind of a little shame that we didn't get to hear the whole extension of whatchamacallit, of what MAUD's explanation on how she came to Boulder, but apparently it wasn't as exciting as was thought, because Rarity was like sort of, oh, I can see how this was so, oh, I have it here. It says, wow, what a surprisingly suspenseful and compelling story. I completely get what you see in him now. And about as just as almost a flat tone as MAUD is herself.
Really with Pinkie, I guess really enjoyed it, because I really liked how I think they were able to write her both as kind of like her normal kind of really frantic, over the top, wacky kind of self, but then also had this nice we saw a more emotional side with her in the second half of the episode. But even with that, just her interactions with Rarity, she wasn't an airhead. Like sometimes she can have that thing when she's written. She can kind of be a little airy in her head when other characters are talking to her. But in this one, she was very grounded. She was still wacky, but she was very grounded. Like she was plotting with Rarity, and when she was whenever she was doing something very Pinkie-ish, like where they were when they were having that dinner and she was drawing with the crayon, Rarity said, no, this isn't that kind of that kind of place, and she's like, oh, okay, and she just kind of stops there, like understanding kind of what Rarity's saying there. And she was very, very serious and determined in this episode as well, which was great to see. Obviously to get this gift for MAUD. And then of course in the second half of the episode, just getting to see how much she really does care about her sister, and she becomes a lot more serious when she has to give up her party cannon, and she actually goes through with giving up like that's the thing that means so much to her for her sister. And she becomes like very obviously kind of sad and somber after that for a bit, but after that, when they get back with MAUD, she's still trying to be happy, and she's putting a really happy face, and is really happy that MAUD likes her gift, and he's even happy with the gift she got from MAUD, and tries to play with it even without her cannon. And I really like that part of her character, where even after she's given up something that she really holds dear, she still comes back and tries to make the best of it in the end. When MAUD actually does give her her gift, and she obviously very, very moved by that as well. So we got to see a lot of different sides of Pinkie just in one episode, which was great, and I really liked how she was written throughout it. And yeah, of course, with the whole MAUD, I guess we can move on to MAUD as well, and just seeing how much, even without a character that's not showing really any emotion, you can really tell how much she does care about Pinkie in this episode, and how much she does love her as a sister there.
It's kind of interesting to see that we get a little bit of slight more in depth on MAUD as well. Where's that picture here? Say this one here. It's not the actual animated GIF that I had, but seeing Maud being able to majestically be able to skate.
Oh yeah. Also, there's a pun they could have made there. She's skating in a parody of Rockefeller Center.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that. But you wouldn't think that Maud would be able to be as like graceful as that, but no, she's able to do like what's that phrase? Not a triple, but is that a salchow that she did? I don't know.
But then again, and as Tim's mentioning, Pinky was also a good skater when we wrap up, and now they're shit. Now that kind of shows that maybe they learned it.
Yeah, that would probably make sense.
And plus, it kind of runs in the family, and we kind of see a lot of that in this episode too, of stuff that runs in the family with Maud Pie suddenly having like those Pinky-esque teleporting abilities throughout. You know, when she's confronting Rarity and then confronting that really sleazy pony as well.
Say, I was joking with a couple other friends that Maud is basically Sans. For those of you who don't get the joke, it's an Undertale reference. So,
I do not get the joke.
No.
But then of course we also have the Pinky Sense Maud Sense thing, and Pinky even says it runs in the family. I guess I guess Limestone probably has a sense. Limestone sense when people are getting too near Holder's Boulder.
I was actually joking with Tim and Elliot about that. I was saying, I just have the mental image of like Limestone just popping out of unlikely places like flower pots and sock drawers saying, "Stay off Holder's Boulder!"
That's probably exactly what she does. She does too, because she probably has those same abilities, and I can totally imagine that. I'm not sure if she's able to find other ponies or if she's just able to find the party cannon. But yeah, definitely one of those with her Maud sense. And I'm sure rocks. Gosh, Maud was just so great, and just the amount of emotion they were able to get her to tell, and just her just not even thinking about it, and just going back immediately as soon as she finds out that Pinkie Pie gave up her cannon, and just immediately turning around and going to get it back and return her gift for it. I think one of my favorite things is definitely at the end when she repeats the 5 ever line from Pinkie Pie and gives that smile. The smile when she says that, it's always like just one time, very rare, one time during an episode that she smiles, and I don't know, it just really, I think it just kind of took the whole episode and wrapped it up with that line and the smile there, and just how much these two really do care for each other.
And say Maud apparently is very persuasive too. Although admittedly, when she was going with Rarity, I mean, Tim, I think, mentioned that Rarity is a bit of a socialite. Secrets are easy come, easy go. So Rarity was probably not very strong-willed when it comes up against Maud on that. And then Rarity was kind of playing up about look at the fire in her eyes on that. With the guy with Rarity, so
I guess that begs the question: was she acting, or she's recounting her previous encounter with Maud in the episode?
I was legitimately concerned. Well, not concerned, but confused on that, because I was like saying that in the chat room, like back during the live discussion we was having. Is Rarity even acting, or is she actually just being real?
That's the sign of a good actor, right there.
Yeah. I say, for all of that, I don't really think that she's actually acting them. For all I know, Maud really could be, Maud just has that sort of problem with, being able to not outwardly emote, so,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Rarity definitely is not a rock when it comes to secrets. It's like I'd like my bag back, please. And it's so funny because Maud just being so opposite of Pinky, and this is something we got in past episodes too, and got a lot in this episode, just being the complete opposite of Pinky, and yet she just totally goes along with whatever Pinky's doing, like with the like her minor participation in that cheer in the beginning, and then the song later, that little song later on, and then of course the end when she winks back at Pinky and stuff. And it's so funny seeing how much these two can understand each other, even being so personality wise different. Where Maud just doesn't show emotion at all, but she obviously still feels emotion inside. And I definitely think that's something important that this episode kind of drove home with Maud in terms of her character, is that even though she doesn't really show emotion like Pinky or Rarity do, she still does feel that emotion inside. She just doesn't express it. And of course, I think it's one of the great things about the past couple seasons and this season is we can have episodes like this without trying to shoehorn other members of the main six in. I mean, this episode just had Pinkie Pie and Rarity. We start right with them going to on the train going to Manhattan for the episode, and we don't try to work Twilight in or work any of the rest of the main six in, and that's something that we really wouldn't have had in the first 2-3 seasons or so of the show, and it's great. We got this a lot this last season and this season where we can have episodes that only focus on a few or even none of the main six, and exploring specific character relationships like we do between Pinky and Rarity and Maud and Pinky and Maud and Rarity in this episode, and just exploring those on their own without any other interruptions or deviations from it. And they're definitely getting a lot of things out of the way pretty quickly this season. We get Maud coming back. We get kind of setting up for Rarity, having kind of moving up even more in the fashion world here. Of course, last episode they dealt with Starlight, Sunburst, and the baby all in one episode. And next week, just judging by the title of the episode, we're already going to get our first episode about the CMC. So I do appreciate how they're knocking some of these stuff out really quick in the beginning of the season here. There's something they've always been good at.
Let's say, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this upcoming Saturday's episode's gonna show us on that. Especially considering that, hey, they spent like 4.5 seasons finally getting their cutie marks, and now they finally have them. What do we do now? We're going to Disneyland. I don't know. Say,
So anything else regarding the characters? There's not really anything else to discuss character-wise other than these three, because there wasn't really any side characters other than a few one-liners. We have the kind of the stereotypical sleazy street pony there that does the trade, but not really much to say about him.
No. We did get to see Suri in the background, but that was just like a one-off thing. So.
Yep, she still exists. She's still doing something in Manhattan. kind of nice seeing her kind of get stuck in the background. Being that she is a McDonald's toy in that last line of McDonald's toys for some reason.
Yeah, and they messed her name up. McDonald's calls her Button Bell for whatever reason. I'm not entirely
I think
sure
that
why.
might have been a copyright. Maybe that might have been some sort of issue. Because I think Suri's name is based off a real person. Maybe they changed the toys.
It's like that for all the characters that are based off of real people. Same with Coco Pamel in the toy is just called Miss Pamel. Suri Palmer, since it's based off a real name, and they like trademarking their official toy canon, names. They can't trademark names of people, so that's why a couple of the toys have changed names. Same reason with like Bon Bon, why they don't call her Bon Bon really in the toys.
They say, and it's not to say that Button Bell couldn't also be part of her name as well, like part of either a nickname or like Suri Button Bell Polo Mare or something. I don't know. Like a couple of names. I have no idea.
It's really just only for the toy line, just because of trademark issues. Excuse me. I guess we can move on from characters and characterization here. And we can move on to the voice acting is next. I guess I think Ingrid Nilsson just did absolutely fantastic as Maud in this episode.
Yeah. Maud was just top notch as always.
I mean, just especially in those final scenes, like when Rarity first kind of blabs that Pinkie Pie had given up her party cannon to her, and just she keeps that same monotone, emotionless thing, but somehow still managed to put emphasis behind it. Like she gave up her party cannon, like she's still just as monotone as ever, but you can still somehow, between the voice acting and the animation and just kind of the overall presence of the scene, you can really see how distressed she is that Pinkie Pie would do that, and of course by her actions immediately thereafter. And it was like that just throughout the episode, especially in the second half, and just when she's confronting the sleazy pony and stuff, and just again keeping that same monotone, emotionless thing, but still somehow managing to put some emotion behind it. It was just really well done by her. It's like some fantastic voice acting there for her.
See, yeah, Tabitha also really did awesome job as well. And in fact, where was I? Noticed it here. There was only 5 speaking roles in this episode, one with only a single, provided by 4 voice actors. This is probably aside from Look Before You Sleep, this is probably the second most minimalist cast of the entire series that we've seen thus far. So,
yeah, I guess after the premiere kind of balances it out.
So.
I will say that Andrea as Pinkie did, I guess, a fantastic job. Like, I was talking about how they were able to take Pinkie's character through a lot of different emotions through this, and Andrea was able to just nail them all. I mean, from like Pinkie Pie banging on the door to try and get into the the bag shop there, and then just when she finally after she gives up her party cannon and goes confront Rarity. I guess really that scene where she's talking to Rarity there, I really liked her voice acting in there when she was like saying, I guess that the running price for a party cannon, running price for a bag here in Ponyville is 1 party cannon. Who knew? And I guess really loved that delivery of that line. It was so serious and so sad, and you can really feel the emotion, but yet somehow still has this hint of like humor to it. And I really liked that line and Andrea's delivery of it. And yeah, of course, Rarity always goes. Tabitha always knocks it out of the park with Rarity in terms of when she's going over the top, like after Maud kind of rejected all of the ideas that Rarity was trying to give her for a gift, and she said, "Hey, all these stuff, and you picked a crack." She just flipping out. And I also just liked her devious nature, kind of trying to hide what her and Pinky were doing for Maud, like when she was like snapping the picture of Maud and she kept telling her to move further back, just like 20 more steps back. And I really like, for some reason though, I really like the line where she said, oh, this is going to look great. It could be your next holiday card. And just the delivery of that line I found so funny. It was just so like great, like bad lying acting there. The delivery of that line was just, I don't know, I found that really funny. Yeah, that image you posted, that's exactly what I was thinking during the episode. I'm like, well, Pinky's about to get arrested here.
Yeah, I was really half expecting that they were just gonna have to bail her out of jail, but then again, I'm kind of glad they didn't, because then things would have been going like really awkward. Then it's like, okay, what? I could just imagine Maud be like, why were you in jail?
Maybe that's how they could have worked the more traditional gift in the Magi story in there, by having Maud have to give up the money she was going to spend on Pinky's present to bail her from jail. Oh man, that would have been great. My Little Pony jail is magic. Yeah, I still stand by. I do think Tabitha is probably my favorite voice actor of the in the show. I mean, she's just able to deliver these besides all the different characters that she plays, just like Baby Flurry Heart and stuff like that. Just her she's just so great and hilarious as Rarity, and she's able to just pull off the over the top nature that Rarity has in every episode she's in.
I believe they called Tabitha like the female Mal Blanc, the voice of 1,000 mares, basically.
It's fitting.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing for Rarity, when let's see, when was it? I think it was when she was discussing with Pinky, after Pinky had given up her party cannon there, and she was like, "That's all you can say is yup." And just her delivery of the yup was just so off Rarity. Like she didn't have her accent or anything for it. It was just very well, almost like she was doing a Big Mac impersonation there.
Almost. The only thing that they would have done is better as if they had actually done like the Sweet Apple Acres, like yep, but just a little. Would have been a nice little callback to like, Pinkie Pie sort of partly related to the apples, but I can only complain so loud. So, yep. Of course, of all things, now I'm thinking of the taunt from Super Smash Bros. Melee, the ice climbers. Yep.
So, anything else about the voice acting? That's about
Not
all
that
I
I
had.
can think of. No.
Yeah, I think it was definitely some of the one of the better episodes for voice acting of the show. I think, just because Maud. So speaking of Maud, get to the humor section here. What does everyone think about the humor of this episode?
So Rare Ball is like becoming my new quickly favorite meme on this. So yeah, I just found like a bunch of images that just can't help but just make me grin.
Yeah, that whole scene where they literally just reused animation of like season 1 Pinkie Pie and slapped Rarity on that animation. that was so great. And of course, I guess that's another thing I can think of for voice acting. It was just Tabitha's impersonation of Pinkie Pie in Rarity's voice was really fun. It was really funny as well.
Let's see. I'm just gonna. Let's see. I do like that.
There's another one I had seen around with her as Sonic too.
Yeah, there's one. Actually, I think I could probably find that one here. Say I can.
Hasbro, get this for a toy idea out fast.
Say
Make an actual Rare Ball toy.
Do not taunt Rarable. Do not make it angry.
Let's say here's the one with Sonic Rarable and Tails, Pinky Tails.
That's perfect. There we go. Someone, come on, make that happen. Make that ROM hack happen.
Let's say, say Technotron does make a point there. We did see like a little thing with the shark plushie making a return, as well as Twicane.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of stuff there. Yeah, there's the Twicane, the
Smarty
shark.
Pants, and the book from Inspiration Manifestation.
Yeah.
Here's the with the shark, the book, and the Smarty Pants. So.
Twicane is the gift that keeps on giving. That's the real moral of this episode.
Yeah. Of all things, I didn't expect to see the Twilight make a return.
Yeah. I did like the, even though it came off as a little overplayed before we actually got the kind of the gist of what the story was, the party cannons uses in the beginning were still really funny, especially the one where in that really tight shop and they're all really squeezed together in between those two walls, and Piggy gives this like really funny smile, and the party cannon just kind of raises up slowly behind her and then fires off. Yeah, but episode 100 was the last time we saw both the Twicane and the shark. So
there was a bit of where was it here? Dang, I don't have it here. Here it is. Yeah. This is kind of reaching. I suppose there's a bit of a stealth pun on this one here, but when they were in the jewelry shop and Rarity was like saying to Maud, like, well, what about these? Do you like any of these? And Maud was like, no, but Boulder thinks that these gems are all stuck up.
Yes.
I suppose you could all say that the pun that I'm making is that you could also say that those gems are all made of socialite.
Boo.
Da. Get out.
Oh.
But yeah, just the fact that your Maud was like saying, yeah, Boulders, like, no, these guys are all stuck up, I think.
How about that giant freaking sundae that Rarity orders?
Yeah.
At the restaurant. It's like, holy
that humongous.
And he just kind of floats it out of thin air, like, just have it ready to go there.
Maud only takes one bite. I'm done. And Rarity's, oh, that cost 200 bits.
I don't know. Rarity seemed to know exactly what to order there. Like she's ordered this before. Probably whenever she's there feeling down and having one of her dramatic episodes, and she has to binge on ice cream like we saw in previous episodes.
Yeah,
she must binge on that.
Let's say yeah, and then Pinky like flips the crayon, and actually before the what was it, the giant sundae was that he's there's the segs involving the map. The first time we see that it's being marked with like the average red line has of like, you know, detailing their journey, but then it's like pulled out to where the line is drawn in with crayon, and Pinky's like, Pinky, this isn't like that type of restaurant. And Pinky's like, okay, and she just tosses the crayon away, and it lands in some poor stallion's lunch, and then he's like, he just proceeds to inspect it for like the rest of the scene, but then like the next scene after that, he just puts it back to the side and he's just back to eating the soup, like, whatever.
Yeah, I like how he's dealing with this crayon in like two or three separate scenes, like like you said, the entire first scene he's just kind of looking at it, and then eventually like 3 scenes later he's finally like put it aside and decide, oh, I can just put this aside and continue eating my soup.
Yeah. Let's say I actually threw the there was a pic that I threw in the chat room about Pinky just like, I freaking love ice cream, and just smashes her head into the whole side of it on. Admittedly, if I had a giant sundae like right there, I'd probably be doing the same after taking my glasses off. So
I really liked the part where, like I mentioned before, where Pinky's banging on the shop door and just like, please, Mr. Hatman, let me in, and just the animation is so like very, very fluid and very comical animation on her like mouth and stuff there. Is really, really well done.
see, I love also the fact that unlike in Ponyville, where the townsfolk are able to brush off Pinky's silliness and ignorance of personal spaces, Pinky just being Pinky, the citizens of Manhattan are actually far more realistic in the one concerned mayor even alerts the police officer when Pinky, who's just a complete stranger, just gets too close to her filly for comfort, and then starts, like you said, starts shouting and banging on the pouch shop door.
Yeah, they're definitely not quite used to her antics there.
So,
let's see. That we already showed it in chat, but just the fact that Maud is just like a pro level skater here on the ice. I found so funny. And she still has the same exact freaking expression on her face as she's doing that, like just completely emotionless, but doing this like triple axel across the screen there.
that's the term I was thinking of. I don't know why I got mistaken for Salchow. I don't know why.
No.
So, but let's see. There was one other thing on here. There was the whatchamacallit. Where did I just had it here? Okay, they found a shop front that's like ridiculously narrow, barely big enough for her, Pinky, and Maud to all squeeze into there. And Randy's like, yeah, it's just a little too snug in here. Say,
Just a tad.
yeah. Boulder himself even seemed to be quite a bit more personality. I mean, he needs to, Maud being all need to find a postcard for his cousin, but can't find any he likes. Apparently wanders off to go hang out with other rocks, and even Maud tells him like play nice when like just leaving him to sit on a giant rock formation. But then again, I remember back when we first was introduced to Maud back like what was it in season 4? I think it was. We saw that Maud was actually giving Boulder like almost an entire sandwich. And you would think that it's just a rock, that it's not going to eat a sandwich. But then the scene cuts away and then cuts back. And then when it cuts back to Maud and Boulder, that sandwich is gone. So.
It leaves more questions than answers there.
Yeah. So, yeah, the with, Boulder running off to go hang out with other pet rocks, that kind of makes me think that okay, yeah, there's something a little bit better to something more than meets the eye with this Boulder here. Maud's Boulder more than meets the. I'm sorry.
Let's see. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the part where Pinkie Pie is about to open her present for Maud, and she's like she and Rarity like hug, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, thank you so much, Rarity," and then she just shoves her aside to the ground so she could open up the present.
Yeah.
It's like, hugs up now. Fuck you. Present time.
Also, a little bit of funny thing to me is like, despite how emotionless that Maud is, like when she's opening her present, I mean, you see Maud's like head kind of just bow down and off screen, and you would think that with Maud, she would probably just unwrap her present like a little bit more. I don't know. Probably not as crazy, but no, you see like bits in paper just flying chaotically on both sides of the screen. just just completely energetic. Rip, 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 rip. I don't know. It just seems a little at odds, but. But yeah, Tim makes a good point here. Like, you know, the Rarity not only doing the Pinkie Pie impersonation, including like the bouncing the ball, but she's also levitating the camera the entire time, and never once does the camera flinch despite all that movement.
It's all that practice from sewing and stuff using magic.
Yeah.
she has very good coordination.
Yeah.
Just a couple times during the episode, just with Maud just trying to participate with Pinkie for it, like, you know, when they were cheering at the beginning, and how does it end? Pinkie Pie. I forget exactly what the cheer was. Let me see. The beginning of the episode. Let me bring that up. Oops. There we go. Oh yeah. He was just Pinkie Pie spelling Maud. So MAUD. You know what that smells? And Maud's like, it spells Maud. And then of course with the Swap Day song later, with her just chiming in with a very slightly energetic "Hey" at the very end of the song was that really made me laugh.
Like I said, the best solo of 2016.
Pinkie is very flexible. I just liked Rarity at the end when, you know, they Maud and Pinkie tell her that they're going to include her in their little gift, which I really like. That was a really sweet kind of ending, like character wise. That, you know, that they really appreciate how Rarity helped, and they're gonna include her. But then now Rarity just suddenly just completely forget the moral here, and oh crap, it means I'm gonna have to compete with you two for gifts here. And just how she just really over the top reacts to that suddenly after being very, very moved by that. Pinkie Pie doesn't or actually no, I only have which one you're referring to be. I was gonna say Pinkie Pie probably doesn't have bones. She's just pure gelatin. And then I guess at the whole five ever thing, especially at the end when Maud says it very deadpan like, I really enjoyed that.
That wink at the end too.
Yep, that freaking slow wink. That was some fantastic animation on that too. Just animating a wink in slow motion is really well done. I also like kind of like the little lamp shading at the end when Pinkie Pie has her party canning back. She's like, Murdy, you could always just get me some more confetti. You have no idea how much of this stuff I go through in a day. And she fires it off again. Yeah, she must go through quite a lot of that.
If one thing, the party store will never go out of business so long as Pinkie Pie's around.
Oh God! Are you fuck? I just opened that GIF you put up. I can't believe someone has already done that. That is hilarious. We're already combining episodes and memes here.
I actually kind of want to see someone like just make like a rare ball, just having like, you know, Rarity bouncing like through all 6 seasons of every episode.
Yeah, with the Brody Quest music in the back.
Yes.
There we go. Someone make that. Oh, I can't stop watching this GIF. It's so well done. I didn't even think to tie these two things together. That's brilliant.
Like I said, Rare Ball is just Even we're not even like 4 episodes in, and Rare Ball's already become my favorite season 6 meme.
This is why Tim said be careful with the horn.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's just too. That's too perfect. That's great. I guess anything else with the humor here?
I can't think of anything else.
That's definitely one of the things I did like about this episode was just its balance of like the humor and emotion. It was a very, very funny episode that relied a lot on humor and had a ton of humor, especially through the first half, but then still had a really strong emotional core to it in terms of Pinky and Maud's relationship and how much they really do care for each other, leading up to the kind of like the emotional ending. But all throughout that, it didn't let up on the humor as well, which is something I really like when shows are able to pull off, when they're able to be very funny and wacky and fourth wall breaking, and at the same time have these very emotional stories to them. It isn't just like an episode of like Teen Titans Go where it's just all stupid comedy. The show still has this like emotional core to it, and that's something like a lot of shows like the original Teen Titans or like Scrubs, I think really pull off, and this show as well pull off really well, that kind of balance where you can both have this really zany comedy and at the same time have this emotional impact that makes you actually care about the episode. Yeah, Rarity's really good at the cheap excuses.
Yeah.
She's almost Starlight tier in terms of manipulative. Almost. So let's go to the next thing, which is the animation and the visuals of the episode here. I will say overall, I really think that this episode had some just like really like better than normal animation, because there was so many really fluid animations in this that weren't just kind of like obviously like stock flash assets or walking. Like there's a lot of really good faces and good expressions, especially on Pinky, like going back to the example of her knocking on the door of that, and she's just winding up all the way back and just pounding at this door with this really big mouth expression. And that's just one example of what I'm talking about. Just there's a lot of really good fluid animation, not anything that's like really flashy or tweened or anything like that.
Let's say there was one where like Pinkie Pie's rear legs turned into like a pink whirlwind when she's like about to rush out of a restaurant. I think that was pretty well done. Just the animation of like the party cannon itself firing out kind of seems like, I don't know, it just seems like almost like it's been upgraded the last few times that we've seen it. Backgrounds also in particular looked really good.
Yeah, that's the thing I wanted to point out is just, of course, this whole, I mean, I guess it shouldn't be surprised with this whole season kind of being about exploring Equestria, but just how many areas of Manhattan we got to see. I mean, we got to see, like J.E. point out, the Rockefeller Center parody that they had with the ice rink. We got to see all these places. We got a close up of the statue of whatever they call it, the Statue of Liberty thing there. A very close up shot of that, and I really liked how that looked. That was really well. I really liked the design of that character for it. And of course we got to see Rarity's shop and just countless other places of Manhattan. Not to mention like an overhead map of the city as well, with a few locations on it as they're traveling around in the middle of the episode there. So it was definitely cool seeing them flesh out Manhattan even more in this episode. In the past, we've really only seen a few locations, but we see a ton in this episode.
And also earlier in the episode, we get another parody background pony cameo, because when they're on the train, there are two ponies that resemble the characters from planes, trains, and automobiles.
I think we've seen those before, right? In one of the previous episodes, I believe they had those same characters in the background on the train as well. I forget what episode that was, but I do remember seeing them before.
I also know that we've seen a bulk bicep recolor, basically.
Yeah, that was it's like orange, like bulk bite. It was weird seeing, but hey, I guess he's not the only roided up pony in Equestria then.
I say I've seen posts where people are already giving him the fan name Brooklyn Rage.
Oh, perfect. Make it official, Hasbro. Really, was there? I didn't even notice the restaurant menu. Was that really CG? It's getting so hard to notice any CGI assets in the show anymore. They're getting really good at it. I didn't even notice that one. And just on the topic of like the background ponies, there just I do love how they do have, a lot of background ponies that get reused, but anymore, and ever since after the first couple of seasons, even though we have a lot of background ponies that are reused, they have different sets of background ponies for each location. So it isn't like we're seeing Lyra and Bonbon in the background in all these different cities like you may have seen in season 1, when you see a lot of the similar ponies in Canterlot and Ponyville. I mean, here we see a lot of the same ponies again that we've seen from the previous Manhattan episodes, all around the city, and there's always the same kind of ponies in the background in Manhattan or any of these other locations that we visit. So I do really like that that consistency with that, and it makes it make the world a little bit more believable. I didn't see that one either. See, I need to rewatch this episode again now because I have to pay more attention to a lot of the hidden animation stuff, because this episode had a lot. One of the things I did want to point out was, someone mentioned it earlier in chat, was the piano scene, the big parody.
Yeah.
With them playing the MLP theme on the piano, which was funny to begin with. But I actually went back and looked at the piano, and they actually are playing the correct keys for the MLP theme. It's a slightly different key than what William Anderson composed for the score, but it is still the it's a few octaves down, I believe, from what was actually in the score, but it is still the actual correct theme. Not octaves, a few keys down. Steps down, but it is actually the correct key on both sides, both the upper and the lower, which someone put some effort into that. So props to the storyboarder or layout artist or animators or all of them that had a part to do with that, because that was some unnecessary effort in terms of the animation there. I don't know, I enjoyed it. What the heck is coming out of this kid? Oh, it's a bird. I looked at it in reverse, and it looked like something was coming out of it. Okay.
Also, even though we got the new Creds background thing, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't use the piano version of the MLP thing for the end credits either.
Oh, I gotta find this one. Let me see. You gotta get to the restaurant scene here. Because I'm scrubbing through. I like how even with when they're skating, Rarity has managed to change into some very, very like fashionable skate dress when they're skating out there. Oh, here it is. This freaking when they put down this menu at when they're hiding behind the menu and talking, Rarity and Pinky. Pinky just has this freaking long ass neck here. just let me see if I can play it a little more. Oh my god, she's not even moving. There we go. There's the longer one. When she turns to the right here, it's just like long neck Pinky returns here.
Happy day and no more.
Oh yeah, I see a little sponge there. I noticed the sponge cheese, the spongy Swiss cheese there.
Yeah, the wasn't that cheese wheel also like in an earlier episode as well?
It was. That was in the that was from the one with Weird Al. Okay. He was running. He was kind of running on top of that cheese during one of the songs. And I believe he also had a cheese scepter, if I remember correctly. There's also a grappling hook. I feel like we've seen the grappling hook before. It's just like, we need to make a pile of stuff. Just throw all the show assets into here. It looks like a Connect 4 board behind there on that one stand as well. Well, it wasn't Connect 4 Mattel, so maybe it isn't. Forget if that's Hasbro or Mattel. I think it's Mattel. I should know this. God, there's so much stuff in there. It's a basket. I say basketball. Oh yeah, that hairstyle with Rarity there was. I really like that hairstyle.
Yeah, I'm seeing her done up like in a bit of
Mean
that bun
style.
there. Yeah, I like that.
Oh my gosh, that GIF.
Yeah.
Was that actually from the episode, or is that someone edited that in?
I think Rarity did peek out over the top of the menu at one point.
Oh yeah,
don't
no,
really
yeah,
remember.
it is. It is from the. That's.
Yeah, someone just edited it into like a loop. So
Yeah.
the only thing is, I just imagine Rarity's neck just going all like giraffe, like just to peek over the top of that menu for like the 2 seconds that she does it. So.
Oh gosh, there's so many links in chat. I'm trying to get to all the ones I missed here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Rockefeller Center or whatever they call it in this world.
Rocket Philly.
Rockefeller, probably something like that.
Yeah.
Mr. Ben, you could write for the show.
You
have the one requirement to write for the show, which is being able to come with pony pun names. Oh gosh, here's another piece of animation. Let me fast forward. Oh, I actually landed right on it, but then I scrolled past it. Boom, boom, boom. Back. Come on. Almost there. Went too far again. There. Oh, come on. VLC is horrible. There we go. The face here when Pinkie Pie's trying to decide if she's going to give up her can to this pony, she's just like hugging it with like this huge bite on her lower lip here, and sweating bullets. One of the many great faces in this episode. Oh yeah, and then I meant to show this because it was in the same scene there in the scene before with them at the here we go at the restaurant here after they kind of come up with their plan, and we have that long neck Pinkie there. Pinkie Pie here bolts right through the door and just leaves a very Looney Tunes-esque hole of herself in the door frame, including her very pinky hair, even just having that solid mark there going through. Jesus Christ! I'm not opening all of these links.
I was about to say, yeah. Jen's going a little.
It's the scene where Rarity's trying to pronounce the PSSDR whatever it was at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever that whole thing with them both oh my God, that one with their mouth open. Yeah, with the one with both Rarity and Pinkie pronouncing that, there's just some great mouth animations. Very fluid. Like I said, just very fluid animation in this episode, even more so than normal. I mean, they're just continuing to get better at animating these guys.
Let's say I actually had the one where she was just going through all those faces in GIF form here.
Oh God! I hold on. I'm sorry. I just accidentally fast forwarded. I didn't realize it was still on screen. But this is actually another face I want to point out. It's the one right before Maud gives her story about the history of her and her rock. When Rarity has this very funny smile, like, oh God, what have I gotten myself into? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Say I'm trying to find it still here. I know I had it, but Oh, this has nothing to do with what I've actually had in mind, but this is just just I'm not gonna point it out, but it's a little minor thing here. Yoink. Oh, I mean, she's not even okay. I thought she was stealing it. She isn't.
Yoink.
She just doinked it off right off the table. I thought she was just stealing it all outright.
Here's a little bit of example animation. Like I guess just the storyboard and like layout of the expressions on Pinky, and then just the animation of this. Just look at this here. All that animation on her arms and stuff. It's just so good, and there's stuff like that all throughout the episode here. Really, especially on Pinky, because great animation on her. Yeah, we had mentioned the Planes, Train, and Automobiles one, which I'm pretty sure has already been used in the show. But I guess had the same ponies on the train there. Okay.
Let's see. Speaking of faces, I don't have the stream up, so I think you may have already posted this one on the stream, but I just got this one right here with Pinky one, where she's like practically matched up against the glass.
Is that the one where she's banging on the door?
No, not the actual door, but
yeah, before that. No, I didn't show that one.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculously creepy long smile. That is ridiculously creepy.
So.
Okay. Oh yeah, let me look at these ones, because I saw someone mention that the statue looked different, but it's been so long since I've seen it. Yeah, it was a lot more detailed. Definitely a lot more detailed in this episode. Same basic thing, but the other one during the song, I guess, was a little bit more like a rough sketch of the thing. Obviously, she's holding them, the statue, in that first one, the older one, she's holding the torch really awkwardly. It looks like she's almost on her head. It was really a really good job on the redesign there. Some nice shading on the colors and just in the overall look of it. Plus, I don't know, in that first one, she's like balancing the book like on top of her hoof or something. It's weird. Yeah. Being that where it looks like we're going into more detail on places in Manhattan, definitely a welcome kind of little redesign there. It's almost like comparing like the shots from last season, comparing like the outside of Fluttershy's cottage from like season 1 and 2 to season 5 or 4, and just how much more detailed everything's getting in the background. I guess that's another thing. That first one, there's no actual like island either. It's just kind of standing awkwardly in the middle of the water with a pier coming out of it. So this one's a little bit more accurate to New York, that they're kind of retconning in here, which I'm okay with. That I really like the look of that new design. I wonder where it was. Was it a gift from the Griffin Kingdom or something? I wonder where. I wonder what the history of this statue is in their universe.
I don't know. Considering that the original real life Statue of Liberty, I think, was
It's a gift from France.
I have no idea what this. Hey,
So you're cutting out a lot there. So I may have cut you off when I was talking, but you're being very choppy.
Yeah. As long as I'm not being robotic again.
Nope, not yet. No RoboBen today. Yeah, that I have to say, I have to totally agree with Tim there. It's so I really do like the look of that. It's really an adorable kind of look. Gosh. See, anything else with the animation visuals? I keep losing. Oh, there it is. Notes. Keep losing where my notes. I actually took notes today because I had enough time to actually watch the episode a third time or fourth time today. So I came extra prepared, so I'm not just struggling to remember stuff. Okay, let's see what Tim posted here. Oh god, yeah, it's almost like she's real. Like, come on, the real statue doesn't have a gleam like that in the eye. That's a little creepy. Great job, whoever redesigned that. That's it. Just look at the detail on everything there, like on the torch and everything. Awesome job. I can't wait to see what other locations we explore this season. Hopefully, go back to I'm guessing we're probably going to go back to Manhattan at least once and see more of Manhattan. And hopefully we'll see some other new locations inside and outside Equestria, because I'm definitely liking this kind of expanding on the world this season. I was really a fan of that theme. It's a lot. I'm glad. Hasbro themselves definitely seems to be. They. I know. I will say that last summer, there's a lot of people freaking out. Well, actually, it was in the fall, because that's when people found out that Hasbro actually was looking for hiring a new head of the pony line, like for their actual toy line, like a head, and a lot of people were calling doomsday on that. But I really like the new direction, this direction that the new person kind of taking it in, both with like the new toy, the Guardians of Harmony toy line, and the Explorer Equestria theme. I think it's a lot better than a lot of their previous themes. Like, I mean, their previous themes were Cutie Mark Magic, and even before, like, Rainbow Power, which was an odd one that they kind of shoehorned into the finale there for that. But Explorer Equestria is something that's I think is a really good theme, both for the show and for the toys themselves. So I'm glad they went with that. I was really happy with that theme for this year's toys for that and for the show. Yeah, it was definitely one of those things where it's like, one of the job requirements is they have to be able to write a new Bible for the toy line. So they must obviously be writing a new Bible. Not, I mean, obviously the person you're hiring for this should eventually have to be able to completely do a new generation when they want to move on to that. But that doesn't mean they're doing it. They're moving on right now from it. So I'm definitely, with this whole Guardians of Harmony thing, which is one of the coolest things that Hasbro has put out for the toy line. I'm definitely excited to see where their new leadership kind of takes it, you know. Not ruined it, redecorated it. She's improving it further. How has Pinky not been like arrested by by national security or something here? Getting a little too close to a national landmark with a cannon there. Okay, I think we're about set here to move on past the animation and the visuals, and I believe, well, we did have a song technically. I guess we could talk about the song if you want.
Yeah. All of maybe 5 seconds of it. Yeah.
Maud's first song. Well, she had a poem at the end. I mean, at the end of the Christmas episode last season.
She had her heart's warming quote song.
But that may or may not have been a song. But here we have the actual song.
It's the Pie Sister Swap Day song. Hey.
And there's the song. Yeah, that's just perfect comedic timing at the end there with that hey. and it has just the right. It somehow has the just the right amount of like misplaced energy on that hay. It's completely emotionless, but it does have some energy behind it. But it's so off. It's perfect. I'm sure Pinkie Pie's been arrested numerous times, but, you know, being Pinkie Pie, she just breaks the fourth wall and just escapes. So they've stopped caring. Oh, give me 1 second, huh? So, I guess we can move on to the music. So, just a couple things to say about the music here. Being it's a Manhattan episode, we get reprises of all the different Manhattan themes that we had before. So there's 3 Manhattan motifs that we've had since I believe all of them were first used in the first Manhattan episode, Rarity Takes Manhattan, not including the very first time we saw Manhattan in the Cutie Mark episode all the way back in season 1. But ever since we've actually gone to Manhattan since season 4, they always use these 3 motifs throughout it. So let's see, we got the first one is in the first track here at the very beginning of the episode, after we get through this little intro here of Pinkie Pie being Pinkie Pie. I got some, obviously Rarity's talking because we got some harpsichord here, and here's the first one here. So that's the first main Manhattan motif. That's kind of like the main motif. That one's usually used usually at the beginning of the episode when we're first entering Manhattan, or whenever we have like a wide shot of the city itself. So that's kind of like the city's main theme, very kind of a breathtaking, orchestrated theme, matching kind of like the breathtaking nature when you come into this huge city, especially compared to Ponyville. So they kind of have that theme there for that. And then we have the what I call the Manhattan Streets motif, which is played in the background whenever the ponies are on the streets. And it matches the hustle and bustle of all the traffic, both foot and carriage traffic here. So here's this one. So after that one, there's a little carousel kind of version of the friendship, Magic of Friendship theme, which usually is played with Discord, but it was kind of played there in the background. I believe that was of the skating scene, where that one was played there, when MAUD kind of came by skating. That's when that one was played there. And then the very last one, you kind of get a little snippet at the end, is the City Lights theme, which is the final theme for Manhattan there. So we got a couple other things here. We get a little bit of like stealthy music a couple times as Pinkie Pie's going around. Most of that stuff is score we've heard before in similar themes whenever someone's trying to be stealthy. Which we hear in a lot of times during the season. Let me see what else here is to point out. Just kind of going through each of these my notes here. So of course we got this track here. So, one of the few times we actually hear the MLP theme in the score. I think the last time we heard the MLP theme in the score was the very cinematic orchestral version of it during the Rainbow Power scene at the end of the season 4 finale. It's a theme that they used to use. William Anderson used to use a ton in the first couple of seasons, and you'll hear it in the background in a lot of season 1 episodes, especially. But we kind of obviously gone away from it. We obviously hear it once every episode as it is, at least in the opening. So we've kind of moved away from it and kind of gotten new motifs from season 3 onward to use other than that one. But it is kind of funny hearing them playing it on the piano, the piano there, and actually, of course, like I said before, actually the animators matching the notes of the theme there as well on the piano. See. Then of course we have the score here for the sleazy pony here. It's like very jazzy kind of sleazy music for him. Let me see. Here it is. Next track here. Now that motif there has been used a couple times in the series. In this episode, that's behind when Pinkie Pie is when Rarity's kind of trying to get Pinkie Pie to tell her what's wrong, and Pinkie Pie's being very, somber about giving away her party cannon. That theme was actually first used all the way back in season 3 in an episode we reviewed not too long ago here. In Too Many Pinkie Pies, and that was used in the track Pinkie's Plan there, and so that was used in the scene where Pinkie Pie had her like face down on the table, and Twilight and Spike come up to her and are pointing out that this awkward Pinkie Pie is being sad there on the table. It's during that scene when Pinkie Pie is kind of expositioning herself there. So that was the first time it's been used. So we kind of get it reused here for the same kind of sad Pinkie Pie here. Let's see. Get a nice little track here when they were having I called it Picnic in the Park, and then after I called it that, I realized they weren't actually eating anything, but they were on a blanket in the park, so whatever. It's a nice little waltz theme. See, okay, and this next one here, let me find the right time, because there's a little theme in here that we've had before. Here we go, and this is one of Pinkie Pie's main lesson motifs. So, of course, throughout the series, especially back in previous seasons, when we would have letters to Celestia or characters expositioning what the lesson they've learned, they of course have backing music for those scenes usually, and those were kind of like the first kind of motifs that we'd had in the series, where each character would have their own lesson theme that they would use whenever they learned a lesson. So this one is actually Pinkie Pie's. It was last used in actually the season 5 episode Party Pooped, when she was when she had found out. Well, I know it was when the main 6 were in that party planning room in the basement that she had, and Pinkie Pie came down and was talking to them there. So. So that's the theme we've heard a lot in the series, and that one's, again, used for Pinkie Pie whenever she's kind of learning some sort of lesson in the series. And really the only other... Wait, no, let me see, I got this last track here. What's in here? So yeah, we get another theme from a previous Pinkie Pie episode here at the very end. So that little motif there was first used in the season 4 episode Maud Pie's first appearance in her initial episode Maud Pie, when Pinkie Pie and Maud are on the train after Maud was leaving in that episode to go back home to the rock farm. So that was its first use. So it gets a little reprise here for Pinkie and Maud. So it kind of almost becomes their theme as sisters there. And we kind of get a little reprise again of the Manhattan theme next. This is one of the new themes here for this episode. And that just kind of ends. And the only other thing I have to say is we got 3 for 3 in this episode in terms of not having the MLP theme during the credits for it. Of course, the first 2 parts of both parts of the premiere this season had different credits music, which was a first for the series. Now this one here also has different credits music. This one is just the City Dreams theme, which was that third Manhattan motif. Actually called City Dreams, because this is one of the couple of tracks that the song composer and orchestrator Kelly Davidson had posted to her SoundCloud. So this is actually on her SoundCloud for it, and called City Dreams. So that's what it's called. So it was played here during the credits to end it out. That track's usually used to back exposition of some sort in episodes. It was most notably used in the first Manhattan episode, Rarity Takes Manhattan, at the very end when Coco Pamel comes in and talks to the main 6 and gives Rarity her key in that episode there. So that's the scene I normally associate that music with, but it usually backs some sort of exposition, and we heard it earlier in the episode also doing that. So that's all of the music for this episode. Like most comedy episodes, there wasn't a lot, but since it is a Manhattan episode, it does bring all those themes back in, which is nice. So yeah, next is the theme and the moral. How about we discuss the theme and the moral of the episode? I'll be right back too, so go ahead and discuss.
Well, of course, I believe the biggest theme and the moral here is, gift giving is not a competition. Just being able to, so long as you give your gift with love, and it doesn't matter what you give. Some people would probably argue, you don't want to be cheap with your gifts, but fairies get, the whole story is just the variation of the whole gift of the Magi, which is the theme of that is basically love is the greatest gift of all. And of course, with the sleazy cannon pusher, obviously, don't be a dick
to Maud.
So yeah. So yeah, that's but yeah, it's obviously it's the thought that counts. So yeah. But that's pretty much all I have really to say about it. Pretty simple theme, and also my I was gonna say my thing kind of wanted to freeze up on there. Hate it when it does that.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Let's see what theme moral. Yeah, it was. I think this is a really good moral. For it as well. Pretty explicitly stated at the end there. Just in fact, I'm actually surprised this isn't really a moral that we've done before in the series about the importance of giving gifts not as a competition or to give the best gift or whatever, or even about getting gifts. And it's all just about the kind of the act of love or whatever there. It's definitely seeing, like I said before, it's nice having Rarity featured in this episode as well, being, with her being generosity and whatnot. Something she has first-hand accounts with. So, what's favorite parts and concerns?
Rarer ball.
Enough said.
Yeah. Yeah, but basically just Rarity, just emulating Pinky, just channeling her and just bouncing up and down. Rarity was just cute in this episode.
Yeah.
Rarity's always cute, so
And then there's Maud.
Yeah, I would say probably in addition to that, my other favorite things would be having an episode with Rarity and Pinky, first off, and just how well they played off each other. Finally having an episode with just them two. Hope we see more of that, more of this kind of stuff this season. And I really like their characters and how they were written and how they played off each other in this episode. And then just Maud was just fantastic. It was her acting. Ingrid just such a fantastic job with Maud, and how she was able at the end to even just emote even without emoting, at least to the point where we know what how she was feeling even if she wasn't emoting it. So
Maud is like the only character to emote without emoting somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely sure how she's able to do that, but Well, I can cross one thing off the list of things I want to see. Now all we need to do is just if we can get maybe an Applejack Fluttershy team up at some point.
Kind of had that in Bats, but not really a team up like you're saying.
Yeah.
That was a little different.
Yeah.
I say, just based on the scene from the Discord from the Discord episode from season 3 that we did, Keep Calm Flutter On, just the Applejack and Fluttershy's kind of interaction just in that one scene when they're dealing with the beavers was great. So yeah, a whole episode would be nice. So I guess overall feelings and conclusions. Let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap this up. I'm sorry. It was a decent first outing for the two for these what was it, the Fox brothers? It was
The fabulous Mr. Fox brothers.
Yeah, fabulous. The fabulous Fox Theater. I need to go there at some point, sometime this year. But it was a decent first episode. Looking forward to seeing what other episodes they'll come out with on this one. So,
Yeah, I think it was a really enjoyable character slice of life episode. I think for two new writers, to this and to really to animation even. I think they did a pretty bang up job with it. They got the characters right. It was just a really enjoyable episode to watch. I think with a good conclusion and moral in the end. So, I believe they've said that they've written another episode or two this season. So I look forward to seeing what they're able to do next.
I'm sorry, Tim's commenting there. Oh no, I'm just thinking of that dumb song now. Do hope we get to see more MAUD in the future, though. More MAUD's always nice.
Yes. I second that.
So that's about it. So thank you so much for joining us today for Equine Episode Examination. Of course, next week we will be having at 5 o'clock Equine Episode Examination for the next Season 6 episode, On Your Marks, which I'm sure by the title you can guess what the episode is about. So I'm sure we will have a ton to discuss, especially with characters on that next episode. I'm really excited for it. That, of course, premieres this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So make sure you stop on by and chat with us, live chat with us during the episode, because that's going to be definitely a good episode, I think, to watch. I'm definitely interested to see what they do with it, because just by the synopsis that I read, definitely has piqued my interest. So yeah, with that, thanks so much for joining us today for Equine Episode Examination. It was a lot of fun. I'm just shoving food in my mouth as well. So thanks for joining us.